Good afternoon. So, those of you who travel on business, you clearly know where I am, right? I tried to look for like a background backdrop thing, and this new technology, fangle dangles, it didn't work. So, I just want to get the podcast up so I can tick it off my tick box and get on to the next thing that I need to do today, right? So, welcome to this is the second series in the series of Beyond the Label. So, the podcast takes you behind the actual product that we use every single day into stories, supply chain, and the standards that shape our world. I'm Dr. Leeza Gordon, and I'm the founder of ICMA Business Solutions. So I'm glad that you are here for another episode in our deep dive into the series on ethical sourcing and brand integrity. So last time I talked about ethical sourcing. What is ethical sourcing? It's not just about tick boxes. Yes, we all need the guidelines to go by. That's really important. So we're all singing off the same hymn sheet, but it's not about just ticking those boxes. It's about what, not just the product, but how is that product sourced? How are the people treated that are making those products? Are they getting a fair living wage? That kind of thing. And if you missed it, I highly recommend that you go back and have a look because it really does set up the tone in where we are going and what we're going to be diving into today. So today we're going to unpack something, including myself, that we don't realize until it's too late. The hidden costs of making fast decisions, especially when it comes to sourcing and supply relationships. So it's very tempting to choose the cheapest option, the quickest turnaround, but what really are we sacrificing for that speed? So let's take you into story time. Let me tell you about one of the deals that I did work away from. And it does look good on paper, but we noticed as we was going through the deal that it didn't quite sit right. The working conditions, inconsistency in communication, and a lot of smoke and mirrors, to be honest. Now, as a Black British woman doing business globally, I've seen the difference in how people do business from England to China. Um, some of them are more rigid and red tape, while others are fast but inconsistent unless you've got the right relationship. So we had a so we brought on a guy that he would bring us deals and we would find the sourcing and then we would make a 50-50. Cool, right? And one of the things that he asked us to source was halal meat in China to be I would say deported. Dubai. Now I've lived in Saudi Arabia and I've also visited Dubai, and they're both halal countries. There is everything that you can think of that we have in the West, they have have there, but it's just halal. From gummy sweets, jelly they have. And my son and my daughter, they quite enjoy the jelly out there. Beef burgers, everything. They've got KFC, Popeyes, everything. But it's just halal. So you can eat places and you know that it is right. So the first red flag was, why would the Middle East want to import halal meat where they can just get it there and do it there and everything's fresh and whatever? So that was the first red flag. Then we could only get the meat in China, but it was frozen. And there's a lot of problems trying to get the meat from outside of China to another place. So we just picked a different country. So I found this guy on Facebook. I was talking to him, spoke to his boss, trying to find out how to do these things. So then as we're going to close the deal now, we've got the price, we've got everything. One of my staff is like, I just don't feel right. Like, so she did some digging into the people that we was going to get things from. And she says, oh, there's some problems. And I was like, well, I've already done all the initial check-in. They've got a website, they've got digital footprint, they've got all the things that we would normally check for on the surface to see if they're legit, customer reviews, that kind of thing. And she's like, no, I haven't got a great feel about it. So my husband's a chef. So I say to my husband, say to my husband, can you tell me when you are ordering meat from outside, what requirements are needed? Right. So he tells me, I ask them for these documents and they send the documents. So in the end, we didn't decide going down to the deal because we had a meeting, and then just by gut feeling, we was just like, this don't feel right. Normally, where if it's in China, we can go to the factories, so there's not a problem. But this time, we was just really going on the videos that they were sending us, and they were saying that apparently on Facebook, there was some people complaining that they're taking the money, but they're not sent the products and all this type of stuff. So we just decided not to go ahead with it, just based on that information, really. So according to recent studies, nearly 40% of brands rush into sourcing decisions and make the changes within the first 12 months. Now, whether it's product recall, reputational damage, or loss of your customers' trust. All of this, it adds up. I've just got some questions here that I always ask, yeah, and what my best approach is. So I always ask questions. I don't just ask them, are you certified? How do they operate on a day-to-day business? Like anybody that knows their business will be able to sit down with you and tell you what they do on a day-to-day. Most likely, if bosses, startups, these type of people, they built their business up from the ground. They built their business from the ground up. So they know every single inch of their business. And then the people that they employ, again, will know their job role, what their specifics and what the targets and what they're supposed to be doing. This is a big one that I learned in China about building trust, visiting the factories if you can, getting photos, video proof, third-party audits, or use a sourcing partner. What I've realized and what I've learned in China that, relationships, they, go a long, long way, even more further than money. So I hope there's not another pandemic, but if there is another pandemic, you can make sure that your goods get out before somebody else's. So yes, relationship is extremely, extremely important. And what I didn't do before, I wish I did before, is to think long term. Ethical sourcing is an investment. It's not a cost. Yeah, we're investing in people. We're investing in the planet. We're investing in making sure things are done the right way. And it really shouldn't be a thing, but because it's not being done ethically. This is why now it is a thing to make sure things are done ethically. So just to making sure that we're on the right side of history. So yeah, that's about it for today. My closing thoughts. If there's one thing I would say is my takeaway from today's episode is fast decisions can cost you slow credibility. So Bob Proctor always used to say, like, you make your decisions fast and you stick to it. Yeah. Or once you make your decision, you don't waver and go this, you make a decision, you stick to it and you go with it. So, and always like that first voice, that is the intuition. And anything after that is your paradigm sticking in, trying to keep you back. So I get all that, but I think the biggest thing is that you have to go with your gut. If something doesn't feel right, it's normally 9 times out of 10 not right. You have to go with your gut, and on that I've been. So take your time, ask questions, ask the right questions. Your brand and the people behind your product, really, they do actually deserve that. They do. So if you are a brand founder or a creative and you want to source ethically but feel overwhelmed, download our free guide, the Ethical Sourcing Starter Kit, 7 questions every brand should ask their supplier. And the link is in the notes below. And don't forget to follow, eat, and share the podcast. It helps spread the word or the message even further. Thanks for listening. And we are here where purpose meets products. See you next